Ann Contorno here with this week's hottest question. What stinks in here? Here's an idea for how to fix a broken sewer line in your basement on the cheap.
Now here's the breakdown. A broken sewer line from in your house out to the street is a giant undertaking, very expensive. If the break occurs within the parkway out to the street where the sanitary sewer is, you're fine. The township generally has responsibility for this particular area because parkways are generally easements. If the break originates from in the house up to that parkway, that's your baby. Now, a parkway usually constitutes where the sidewalk is to the street. In a case where there's no sidewalks, as it was with my property, your township then goes by the survey of the property to determine where your parkway comes in. There's a ton involved in having to redo a sewer line on your property. You have to jackhammer up the basement floor. You have to go outside the house, dig down at least 6 feet to where they buried the sanitary sewer lines. Then you have to have all that pipe replaced. This is a ton of labor, especially when you have to start digging. The materials themselves are only a few $100s, but what you rack up is labor. There are creative solutions, however, to avoid cost headaches when the break is within your house. A way around extensive costs could be to simply divert the drainage away from the broken area within the house and reroute it to an existing sump pit. This is actually what I did on this particular property. This property was going to be even more labor intensive to replace the outside sewer line because this house was set back 90 feet from the sanitary sewer tie-in, and it was elevated. It was on a bit of a hill. So when you account for the elevation, you're going to be digging down about 2 to 3 times as far, since the sewer pipe is going to be buried 6 feet at the street level, the lowest level. So you have to go through all this.
Our cost-effective solution was to reroute the drainage from the break and then take it over to the existing sump pit in the basement. So in our effort to avoid a $10,000 repair job, what we did was we jackhammered the concrete up in the basement, which we would have had to have done anyway. We disconnected the drainage from the existing broken clay pipe. We capped that off, and then we rerouted that drainage through the new PVC pipe that we laid into the freshly jackhammered channels that we put into the basement floor. Right here you see where we ran the PVC pipe into the existing sump pump pit. Since this was only clean water that was draining through it, it was from the shower and the laundry, we simply left the regular sump pump in, and now it was collecting that water in addition to the rainwater, which it was formerly doing. If you had commodes down there and were tying those pipes in, you'd have to convert that sump pump into an ejector pump so that would pump out all of your solids. To finish it off, what we did was we tied the sump pump drainage pipe that left the house into the sanitary sewer line that ran overhead. It was in very close proximity, so it was a very easy finish for us. Effectively, what we did by employing this strategy was to negate about 65% of the labor and materials that this job would have cost us to trench out through the whole front yard to the sanitary sewer tie-in, and then backfill and re-landscape the entire yard. Ask a few plumbers their opinions and brainstorm. I had several plumbers that were stumped by my plumbing layout and wanted to do standard fixes, which would have skyrocketed my costs, and it wouldn't have fixed my issue anyway. By brainstorming and asking opinions, I eventually stumbled upon this particular option, and I found a fantastic plumber to make this a reality. And remember, whatever you do, always consult a licensed plumber first. Your scenario may be different, and you will likely have a very different plumbing layout in your property than what I had. This is simply to get you started thinking of a creative solution to an expensive problem. There usually is more than one way to approach your goal and be successful. This has been another Ask Annie tip. Check out my website at anncontorno.com and be sure to leave me any questions or comments you might have. Here's to your success, and remember, live, laugh, love.